We're live.
You are, Hi, we are live.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to our Champions League edition of the CU Football Weekly. We had a bunch of exciting, dramatic, thrilling Champions League games uh, over the last 2 days. I think four games in specific. We'll probably cover three games at the least that at least one of us have watched. And we have our usual suspect Dave with us and joining us for the first time, but hopefully many recurring appearances in the days to come. We have DK,
Yeah, hi
who's
everyone.
from the state of Arsenal. Hi DK,
Speed of, speed of Arsenal
how do
is
you feel?
a good announcement. It's a good
How do you
announcement.
feel?
I feel good, like a pretty impressive performance by Arsenal, so I'm
Yeah,
confident. But
yeah.
the Champions League, it can go anywhere.
Hey, I mean, it's an Arsenal-Bayern game and the
Yeah,
scoreline doesn't read 5-1.
yeah.
I'm
So
sure that's like you're living the dream of fans from 5 years ago.
7 years ago.
Seven.
Yeah, it was
I think they did.
2017. 2017 was the last time Arsenal played in the
Oh,
Champions League.
wow.
So yeah,
See,
it's been 7 years.
it's been a long wait, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cool. So let's get into the games. Let's cover the Arsenal Bayern game. I'm sure DK got that, and
yeah.
Dave and I we probably watched the replay or something. First thoughts on the game. The game was played at Emirates, of course. The
Yeah.
score line is 2-2, evenly poised, and the away goals rules being scrapped means you are effectively going to start with a nil-nil. So, what do you think the performance was like?
I think it was impressive given that like almost all the players in Arsenal team have never played Champions League football before. Even the players like Saka, Saliba, Rice, who are some of our best players, they've never played in the Champions League before, and this is the first time out, and they go against Bayern, and they go toe to toe, and get a draw is still better than, yeah, as you said, losing 5-1. So it's a much improved Arsenal than what Bayern would have faced 7 years ago. So I'm like quite impressed with the team. What happens next is, we can't predict. Maybe Bayern are still a very strong team, even though they're not at the top of the Bundesliga anymore this season, and they're most likely not going to win it. But they're still, Bayern Munich, they're European giants. They have like really quality players. So from an Arsenal point of view, I'm positive about going there and at least matching up to them. But yeah, you can't speak about the result. Uh, I think there were a couple of mistakes that Arsenal made that I would chalk to their inexperience and being like maybe overwhelmed by the occasion. So players, Kivior made a mistake, Raya made a mistake that led to the first goal. So yeah, a couple of mistakes that led to the goals. But other than that, a very solid performance. Even going forward, Saka obviously is phenomenal. I'm like, I feel like a proud dad every time I watch him play. So I'm very happy to see what he's doing and what he has been doing the whole season. So yeah, quite an impressive performance from an Arsenal point of view. Just a couple of avoidable mistakes that made the result look not so great. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. What about you? How did you assess that?
I'm keen to hear on Dave because for years he has been, dunking on Arsenal at every chance we have gotten, or going out of his
But
way to do that. I mean, understandably, Arsenal's it's like the youngest
no,
child in the
the
family.
only
We
yeah
all need a
no the
kick out of.
only yeah no the only reason I have a problem with Arsenal is that some of the fans they tend to go. Some of the fans obviously sometimes tend to go and say that they are like or they're very they're sometimes there's claims that they're better than Barca, which is has been a problem. But then Arsenal are a good team. They have been consistently performing, and I think there was a sense of maturity which was shown last night, hanging in with an European giant like Bayern. They have had difficulties over the past few years in this stage of the tournament, especially against teams like, I think for a period of time there was this consecutive series of games, right? Either it was Barca or Bayern in the quarterfinals for Arsenal, and Arsenal found it tough to get through to the
To be
next stages because of
j-
that.
to be honest, Arsenal haven't
Yes,
reached the
Ritik.
quarterfinal of the Champions League since 2010. So
Yeah,
it's always been
Yeah,
Bayern or Barca in the round of 16. In fact, so I think there was only one time that we got Monaco, and even that like something weird happened and we let Berbatov score of all people. So
I think you got the greatest Monaco team in its history. That's what
yeah,
happened, I believe.
yeah, that was a
yeah,
yeah that Monaco team was
Yeah,
quite
but
impressive. They had a
see,
lot of good players.
obviously, neither of us follow Arsenal the way you do. But looking at the club, the fact that they can go toe to toe with, a City or a Bayern and still have a respectable scoreline at the end of 90 minutes is impressive in itself. And the way that you pulled yourself back as a team, it was a comeback draw. So Arsenal went into the lead
yeah.
and in typical Arsenal fashion led two goals in. And we thought from there it was going to be a procession, right? So we have seen that from Bayern. We as Barca fans have been on the receiving end of that procession far too many times than we want to remember. Then to see you get back in the game with Trossard's goal, that was definitely impressive. And it's time somebody built the camp that is Bayern, right? So as a neutral, we are really happy with that. So your predictions, what are you looking forward to the return leg Alliance Arena? You think Arsenal stand a realistic chance?
Uh, I think Arsenal can win it. Arsenal have a very good away record. In fact, they have not conceded any away goals in like a month or so. So that's one thing in the league. They only conceded against Porto. So Arsenal actually have the best away record in the Premier League right now, and they've been so the City game was one where they sat back and decided to like be very defensive. This game wasn't like that, so Arsenal were actually going on the front foot and attacking Bayern, which which is very different from what other teams would have done. Like Bayern are still pretty good, and I think Arsenal can go ahead and score even at the Allianz Arena, even though it's a it's a big
Yeah,
like it's a
that
big
is a
event.
very
But
real
I still
chance
think
that
that
Arsenal can flick it
yeah,
away.
it's level for now. Like there's no away goals, there's nothing. So the game is as good as being at nil-nil. So whoever scores,
I think it's Yeah, I think currently it's like 60-40 Arsenal, simply because it's at Allianz Arena, and therefore they will have the home advantage. Allianz Arena in Bayern's home UCL games, they are a very different atmosphere as well. So
Yeah,
that
that's
will
true.
work for them. That will work for them. So currently, I would agree with DK in the sense that the first goal might just determine the game, or like the first 15-20 minutes, if someone manages to score, that might swing the balance of the tie overall. But
Dave sounds like
yeah,
one of those cliched UCL commentators. This goal is going to be important in the context of the game. Of course, that's
every goal
called
is important.
football.
Yeah, but um, yeah, so all I'm saying is that Arsenal have a good away record. It's not like like a few years ago when Arsenal used to be pushovers and big teams were scoring 4 5 goals against Arsenal. Like last season, City scored 4 goals, and this time they couldn't score even single goal over two matches. So Arsenal have
Yeah, and
improved a lot, and City is one of the toughest grounds to go to in all of Europe. So if Arsenal can go to Man City and hold
and
them, I think they can do that at Allianz
here's
Arena as
the
well.
thing, right? If there was ever going to be a time that Arsenal could beat Bayern, this is it. Bayern is at one of its lowest, while Arsenal pretty much at its zenith under Arteta. And I really, really hope that Arsenal puts Bayern in their place and dump them out of the quarterfinals, kind of, repaying a favor Barca, Arsenal, Ajax, all of us have City. We all have this informal DNA arrangement
I
between
don't.
us. So,
Okay, I don't have very friendly feelings toward Barcelona actually. I was
yeah,
very happy
we
when
will
they
get
lost.
to that
When I was very happy when they lost 8-2 because now people associate that game with the 8-2 and not Arsenal.
instead
And
of the five, instead of your 10-2, I guess.
no, no, instead of the 8-2 game that Man United
Oh,
defeated Arsenal.
yes.
so, so I'm very
Cool.
happy with that.
So that brings speaking of not being on friendly terms with another club, that's a nice segue into another cracking contest that we had. Um, I believe the same time as the Arsenal-Bayern game, which was Madrid versus City, 3-3. And I think Dave and I were actually watching that game, and it was one of those mad games where no tactics, just vibes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but it was just end-to-end action. I couldn't see anything called midfield at any point in the game, and the game was defined by six individual moments of brilliance, pretty much with each of them being buried for.
No, this sort of game suits Real Madrid. Like they like this sort of end-to-end flowing football where they can do big switches and bypass the midfield and go straight from defense to attack. So it's one through one long ball from someone like Modric. Now they have like better players, obviously, in the sense the younger players, players with more legs, so they can cover more distance and they can have those long switches of play. So yeah, in that sense, it worked in Madrid's favor. City, the thing which City like to do, like to control the ball, control the midfield, and therefore starve the opposition of the ball. That did not happen, like you said, which ultimately led to this big score line. Because at the end of the day, when such expansive football is played, it works in City's favor as well, who have some excellent individual players.
Who do
What's
you
up?
think is happier, Dave, between the two managers?
Has to be Pep still, because Pep knows. I think City's squad overall is a better squad than Real Madrid's squad, and over the two legs, I think the difference might show, especially considering the return leg is at Etihad. If a return leg was at Bernabeu, it's again these sort of things that home advantage plays a role in UCL. This, which you will
It's
call cliched,
insane how we
but it is
repeatedly.
but it is true, it is repeated for a reason. That is the point, right? At Etihad, I think Pep will probably ease away from by controlling more of the mid ball and more of the midfield, and being starving Real Madrid of the ball. So yes, I am going for City in the semi-final in the return leg. I think Pep will be happier with that away win here.
I think home advantage
There was no
is not
away
a
win. It
myth.
was a
I mean,
draw.
it was a draw, but like home advantage is not a myth, right? So even Real
Yeah,
Madrid decided to close their roof so that they could get more advantage from the crowd.
yeah, that's true. And how poetic it is that they decide to scrap the whole away goals rule, and Madrid, as usual, gets to be, the beneficiary from it. Meanwhile, Barca went and scored three past PSG. Might have as well been 1-0 and it wouldn't have mattered. This Madrid black magic is something else, man. I'm just sick and tired of it at this point. Just, fast forward these UCL games, these tight contests, especially where it feels like the opposition is actually going to come out on top, only for some random, Brahim Diaz of all people to come in and score a stunner for a, you know, 3-3 end result. I'm just, I'm
Okay.
done with
Okay,
Madrid.
and okay. First of all, enough simping for Madrid, because no, I have this pet peeve. Ki, okay, fine, we know Real Madrid are great, and therefore they are going to be there in the UCL later stages. It's a part of their DNA. It's a part of their club. That is club's ethos. That is there. I'm not denying that, and I'm not disrespecting that. But I have a problem with fans, Barca fans who essentially talk a
Speak
lot
truth.
about Madrid. No, talk a lot about Madrid, but do not give Barca the credit it deserves, which happened today with Chris after the Barca PSG game. It's a nice segue here as well, and I will start it off. Uh, there are times in a club's evolution of a squad, right, where certain victories are consequential and important. I think Barca's La Liga win last year was very important for the young squad. They needed a trophy. They needed to win something to get that mentality of champions, so to speak, to dig in their heels and win at any circumstance, which is what happened a lot last season. So you can see it reflected this season in a lot of games, especially in the later part of the season as the team has gotten better. And you could see it last night. And last night, I think, is as consequential of a win for Barca as it was as the La Liga victory last season, which it this is a sort of uh, peak European Champions League victory, which this young core of squad needed, and a comeback victory at Parc des Princes, where there are uh, away fans are absolutely making a lot of noise, but silencing the crowd, playing with calmness. It showed character, and I think
I
it
agree.
will take a
Nobody is
long way.
contesting that.
Yeah, but
I don't
people
know
do
why
not
you
give
felt
it
the need to give a Julius
no, no, no,
Caesar
no,
of
no,
a
no, no.
monologue.
My problem is that people do not give that enough credit, to be fair. But yeah, fair enough.
I will give my credit when I see this in the second leg. Like, can you blame me as a Barca fan? How many times have I been promised something only for it to be snatched away from my hands at the last possible second? Be it Juventus, Roma, Anfield, or the latest El Clasico with Bellingham's,
Yeah,
I think it was
sure.
a double.
Yeah, but we are not talking about the history, right? Like we are talking about at this
No,
point
I'm saying
this Barca.
I'm well within
That
reason
is the
to
point.
hold off hold off on celebrating prematurely. I don't know why that comes off as not giving credit to the team. I absolutely am proud of the team for the way they played. But let them show this for 90 more minutes and they'll get what they want from me. We have already established enough times I'm the Washi's dad of this channel for CEO. And in the past, that has worked very well for me, as you can see with the proud Aussie colors that I'm wearing. I was just like this when Australia beat South Africa in a very tough game when they dug in and we had some fringe players, take center stage. I was not happy at all. I thought they had to steamroll their position. In the end, my criticism, voodoo magic, whatever you want to call it, it worked for Australia. And if it works for Barcelona, I'll be happy.
Yeah, yeah, for every superstition matters, I guess. I don't know if you believe that is how that is going to
Yeah.
help your team go ahead. But yeah, it's better to be pragmatic. Like I know that depending on which team you support, like Barcelona has had great success, but it's also like yeah, the Liverpool game especially was oh my god, that
That
was
was,
so
yeah,
surprising. Yeah,
exactly.
anything can
And
happen.
not to mention, I think yesterday's game, I ranted about this a bit in the group as well. The way Joe Cancelo is playing, you see why he has had problems wherever he has gone, right? I think even VS, who's not on the chat today, used to keep bringing this up. Cancelo, or I don't know if it was you, Dave. Cancelo is good, but the problem is he thinks he is great. And that was a frustration I had throughout the game yesterday. On the far end of the pitch, Cancelo should have been a lot more selfless. We could have seen a different score line. And he at least, fumbled the ball 5, 6 times in dangerous area that thankfully PSG didn't capitalize. One of which came really close when, Dembélé hit it on the post. And that also played a lot into why I wasn't, 100% in on the victory celebrations. It was very nervy a win, but all said and
See,
done.
point being, okay, I agree that fine. Eventually, over the two legs, there is more of a chance of PSG winning, maybe because they have a world beater like Mbappe who can change the game if he wants to. Yesterday, he got shut down by Barca defenders, but that won't happen over 180 minutes, so to speak. There will be moments where he will come alive and he might just change the scoreline. But my point entirely was that in these sort of games with this youngest squad, I think this is the youngest squad in this
Champions
round
League.
of quarters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ever
So
for
in
any team.
this ever for any team ever, so you have when you have a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old playing with like a 21-year-old coming off the bench to support the Pedri is 21 still. You have Fermin Lopez, who is a senior in the squad at the moment at 21. So when these sort of players come in, and when you have this peak level of UCL happening, you will have mistakes, you will have moments of lapse of concentration. It's not like we didn't see it over the last day of CL as well. All the teams committed mistakes and which considered goals, which is the system that is working in Champions League these days. Games are a lot more open and we are seeing bigger score lines. So when you are in that sort of adversity, when a squad as quality with as much quality as PSG has put two past you in a couple of minutes, coming back from that and uh, coming back from that and winning the game 3-2 at the opponent's stadium, that is a galvanizing victory for this young squad. And that is my point. It's that sort of mentality is a champion's mentality, which was shown.
I'll give
They
the team
might
that.
lose
That's
still.
exactly what we have lacked for years. And there was a brief 10-minute period where it looked like PSG could have scored 5 goals, right? And we did hold on to our lives dearly. And not only did we manage to not, you know, end the game with an embarrassing scoreline, but we actually somehow eked out a goal in the late stages to walk away with a win. So yeah, I guess I am right in my let's delay the celebration a bit and double down after the second leg, while you are absolutely right in acknowledging and giving the credit where it is due. All that said, quick thoughts on Xavi before we close this, Dave. How did you rate his managerial performance last night?
Yesterday was he was pretty good. Like, see a few of the changes which PSG made in the half during the half time surprised him, and he consider like, and the team considered twice. That is something I think every top level manager these days faces in this elite of a competition. So when this sort of situation happens, he made the correct calls, and both the times the substitutions worked almost immediately. I think it was Pedri's first touch which led to
Yes,
Rafinha's second goal. It's first touch, brilliant touch.
for
You miss watching
yeah,
such magicians on the
yeah,
pitch, man.
that's true.
Pedri is still, according to
Yeah,
me, and according to I suppose a lot of people, the most talented youngster in midfield. His tempo, his control of the game is fantastic. And Christensen coming in and also scoring was
first touch. Yeah,
really good. And that was his first goal in the season as well. So nice way to open the account,
yeah.
grabbing a winner in a UCL
So
quarterfinal
Xavi in
against
or Xavi out?
PSG. Uh, tough question. I don't think Zavi wants
So
to be
you
in.
now you want to wait for
If
the second
no
leg,
no no
don't
no
you?
no 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 no. Here's the thing. If I am given a choice, I would be Zavi in simply because I don't think currently, unless like we were discussing in our group chat earlier, unless like someone like top level Nagelsmann or you have Klopp, someone like that is available. I don't think getting rid of Xavi and would lead to an immediate upgrade. It will be start of entirely new project. I would like to see this project continue simply because there is something here. We are seeing it this season. There is something inherently good about this Barca squad. in terms of quality and their performance in big matches. So I would hope it will continue, but I think Xavi will leave, and that puts Barca board under the microscope, doesn't it? It will be fun to see which direction they go to. Hopefully, it will
Just
be a good one.
one window without drama. That's all I ask. Is
Yeah,
that too
that will
much?
never happen at
That's not
Barca. Not
happening.
possible. That's not happening. It is Barca. It's the most dramatic club of the
Like
in the
we
world.
have an Arsenal fan in the street, and he is able to laugh at us and not look
Yeah.
out of place.
My favorite
Look
part
at
of
look.
I think the only time there was no drama in Barcelona transfers was when they were banned from transfers. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the most followed club. It's one of the most followed club in the world as well, man. Like these sort of things do happen, especially in a democratic club as Barca. So you have a lot of media surrounding the club and a lot of noise. So I don't exactly mind. It's a part of the process, really. That's why when the club succeeds, it succeeds big, and it succeeds like no other club in history. And that is the aura of Barcelona, I would say, even after so many defeats in recent memory.
Cool. That's such a poetic note to end the stream. So we all have our assignments clear. DK stay relevant in the Premier League
Right.
and hopefully do one past Bayern in the
Yeah.
return leg. They
Hope so.
for us it's clear. Just park their bus. I know Xavi is really good at that, contrary to historical Barca managers. So hopefully next time we get up on the stream, all three of us are happy. Thank you so much for
Okay.
joining. Thank you so much for folks watching. Good luck to all your respective clubs. We'll see you soon in another edition of Sports Entertainment Weekly Football. And in case if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that as it really is big motivation for us to continue doing this. Thank you, gents. Have a nice
Thank.
week.
All right. You
Bye.
too.